If you've ever been inside a courthouse, you know the look, the feel, long hallways, bright lights, almost boring, except there are so many high stakes decisions made there day in and day out that can impact the course of someone's life. You might even see an armed guard or two, but have you ever seen anything like this? This is 26 Federal Plaza, an immigration courthouse in New York City, and Jacob Soboroff from NBC News and some other journalists went inside there the last couple of days and did some really important reporting on what's happening. These are people who are proactively showing up to their immigration hearings in front of a judge. In the moment they walk out of that judge's courtroom, they're being accosted by masked, armed, big agents and taken away. Take a look at this.
It was a remarkable thing to see, not just because these immigrants who are showing up as they're supposed to play a part in the lawful immigration process are being literally snatched the second they walk out the door of the courtroom, where otherwise they might be given a court date to come back in a year or two for a regularly scheduled appearance to perhaps get asylum or go into full removal proceedings. They're being picked up and taken to, in some cases, a secretive detention center. What you're watching on your screen happened on the 12th floor. On the 14th floor of this 26 Federal Plaza, where literally over 1,000 people have been taken over the course of the last 2 months. The 14th floor has other immigration courtrooms, but on the 10th floor is a detention center. In just 5 hours inside 26 Federal Plaza, I saw armed and masked federal agents apprehending 5 different migrants who had appeared for their immigration hearings. This isn't a normal or long-standing practice. It is a new directive by the Trump administration playing out on several floors of this building. There are multiple floors inside this building, 26 Federal Plaza, where there are immigration courts, and that's where hearings are happening. And then those masked federal agents are detaining migrants who are coming out of their regularly scheduled immigration check, and some who are getting court dates to come back in the future, yet they're being detained. And then they're being held on the 10th floor of this building in a makeshift detention center where advocates and lawyers are saying people are being held longer than they're supposed to and in inhumane conditions.
It's July 2025, and I remember how jarring it was just a few short months ago to see these videos on social media and images in the streets of these masked ICE agents operating seemingly with impunity. And now we see it in the hallways of a courthouse. It'll never be normal, but I do worry that images like this of these big guys in masks is becoming normalized. Let's talk about the rule of law. I know this country is quite evenly split on the question of immigration policy and whether someone who's inside the borders of the United States illegally should be deported immediately or set on a path to citizenship or something in between. I know that Americans are split on this. I do wonder if we're split on the question of due process in the rule of law. And by that I mean, who has all the power in this situation? It seems like the guys en masse are the ones making the decisions immediately when the person who showed up for their hearing walks out of the courtroom doors. What does the judge say in this situation? Did they have any role? Did they order this? Do they know what's happening the moment that the person who was there for the hearing leaves their chambers? Remember, this second time around, the Trump administration had time to prepare. It was January 20th, 2025, literally the first day of this second Trump term. A memorandum to all ICE employees from the ICE acting director, subject interim guidance, civil immigration enforcement actions in or near courthouses. Federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies routinely engage in enforcement activities in or near courthouses because many individuals appear in courthouses for unrelated criminal or civil violations. Family members or friends accompanying the target alien to court appearances or serving as a witness in a proceeding may be subject to civil immigration enforcement action on a case-by-case basis considering the totality of the circumstances. ICE officers or agents may conduct civil immigration enforcement actions in or near courthouses when they have credible information that leads them to believe the targeted alien is or will be present at a specific location and where such action is not precluded by laws imposed by the jurisdiction in which the enforcement action will take place. I'm not a lawyer. I know that people concerned about the rule of law and immigrant rights are challenging this as constitutional, but this is what we're working with. This was all laid out for us in Project 2025, and again was implemented on the first day of the second Trump term back on January 20th. Here are some more videos of what the journalists saw happening in the hallways of 26 Federal Plaza.
Not just these people, like the man right here that I watched be apprehended by masked agents, armed masked agents, 9 of them just standing in the hallway with all of us waiting for them to come out. It's children. I cannot tell you. This is me right there standing. I mean, it is a unbelievably surreal scene that these guys are standing there in ski masks and sunglasses and hats and bulletproof vests. There are kids just like this who are being forced to walk through these scenes, even if they're not being detained by the ICE agents or the ATF agents in the case of the scenes that I saw play out yesterday, or the Border Patrol agents who are there today. All of these children are going to suffer the trauma of walking through these militarized scenes in the hallways of 26 Federal Plaza because their moms and dads want to do the right thing. They want to show up for their hearings so that they can stay in this country legally. They're trying to actually make things right. And instead, they're being forced to literally walk through a gauntlet of armed, masked agents who won't show their faces, won't tell you their names, and are literally grabbing people that could be their mothers and fathers, and it could be their own family separation were it not for the luck of the draw and they weren't the ones that were detained on that particular day.
You got people dressed up for their court appearance. You have kids in the arms of parents wondering what's happening with these big dudes in masks lining the hallways, and when the parents come out of the courtroom. And it makes me wonder, why would you show up for your immigration hearing? The administration is ostensibly concerned with order in our immigration system, and that should include the courts. But say you're scheduled to appear at one of these hearings for your case. Would you go? I'd imagine you'd think twice about why you would appear when the judge seems to have less power in this case, and agents waiting in the hallway have all the power. It seems to me that the goal of this regime is just to hit the target as articulated by Stephen Miller of 3,000 deportations per day, rather than putting in place any kind of order in the immigration system that involves judges or courtrooms or the rule of law.